I have now officially been working on Grovekeeper, a real-time strategy tower defense game where you control a forest, defending it from the humans who have come to destroy it, for an entire year. Now, initially I was only going to give myself a year to complete the whole project, but as suspected, it's not quite ready to be released. The last time I updated the channel was before PAX in early October, and a lot has happened since then. In today's devlog, I'm going to go over my experience at PAX, the amazing player feedback I received, and the progress I've made on Grovekeeper since then. PAX Oz 2023 was a truly excellent experience. I have never attended an event like this, even as a member of the public, so to have my own pod in the Indie Rising section next to other incredible indie devs was a true pleasure. I got to meet so many interesting, articulate people who all gave me great advice and feedback, and I think I can now consider myself a game dev. As a result of PAX, I managed to gain hundreds of player feedback forms, and this has proven to be the most useful thing ever for when it comes to iterating on game designs. I have so much data from people's playthroughs and have managed to narrow down the most consistent notes about the game into a list of things to address. One of the main gripes that people had with the demo was that it lacked any of the traditional RTS controls that players have come to expect, such as grouping units into control groups so that they can easily be selected with the number keys, and double-clicking on units to select all of the same unit type. I have addressed both of these issues and programmed them into the game. The next feature I implemented was the ability to change unit formation size and attack styles. So now units can either spread out to cover more area or bunch up to focus on a single area. Units can also now be either set to defense, where they will continue to return to a location to defend it, or attack, which doesn't limit the units to a particular area. Another obvious one is the ability to edge scroll, that is, the ability to move the camera around the map by putting the cursor on the edge of the screen. Most RTS games have this mechanic. So with these changes, most RTS players are going to feel more at home and familiar with the controls.
And evil Thorleth.
I've changed the look and feel of the level selection screen to represent actual sections of a forest on a map, slowly edging towards the human settlement for the showdown in level 5. There's a basic high score system implemented, and now players receive any leftover magic money and add it to a pool with which they can purchase perks, which are permanent buffs to particular units or special unlocks like new, more powerful trees, grizzly bear, etc. If you're still watching this and you aren't subscribed to the channel, please consider clicking the subscribe button, but feel no pressure to turn on notifications. That's annoying. Just check in on the game in your subscriptions page every now and then and see where I'm up to. I've been working hard over here, please help a man out. I have 3 levels that are pretty clearly defined so far, and each one introduces some new mechanics to the player. The first is Ironwood. It's the first level, so it's not too overwhelming, with only 2 spawn points at the top corners of the map. The home tree is the only place in this level that units can be spawned from, which limits them to the basic infantry units, with no tower or range units. This is to ease the player into the concept of the game and the fundamental controls without overwhelming them. Oh, and I tutorialized everything. Rather than front-loading a bunch of text at the beginning of the game, I slowly introduce elements as they appear. The second level is called Wormturn Road. This is a slightly more challenging level with 3 enemy spawn locations and more aggressive waves. This is the level I showed at PAX and the one I did most of the testing in, so I'm very much used to seeing this map from every possible angle. I introduced the Witch's Hut in this level, which allows the player to purchase some more auxiliary units like the Goblin Archer or the new unit, the Fidane, a humanoid plant monster that spits acid and transforms into an acid tower. The acid damages the enemies, but it also slows them down. In this level, I introduced the concept of mines, which are a new feature whereby at a random point during the game, a mine will appear on the map and create a new enemy spawn location. This is to keep the player on their toes so that they're required to pivot their strategies and defend a new front line. The third level is Jotunheim Pass. At this point, I introduced the Hauger, an ancient magical ruined altar where the player can now purchase the new tank unit, the Mistcalf, a huge stone golem. The Mistcalf is a very slow-moving wall of rock with high damage and health. However, to balance it out, the unit can never be healed, even at the end of each wave. So once it's spawned, it's basically a countdown to its death. At a random point in this level, I introduced the Lords of the Land. Yes, that's a reference to Dungeon Keeper. These are mounted knight units that rush the player's defensive front line and weaken it before the wave commences. I'm also working on a 4th level now, and I'm playing around with some different biomes and different themes in an effort to keep the game more interesting. So I think that's enough for this devlog. There's a lot more in the works, but it's been a while since the last update, so thanks for sticking around. The game has some real momentum at the moment, and I will keep the updates coming for all those who are interested. The game in its current state is unfortunately not publicly playable because the game is larger than the itch.io upload limit, so I'm doing some work in optimizing things so I can keep it in that ultra light download size. Also, Steam page coming soon. Thank you so much everyone, enjoy the rest of your day.